know this. Let's do this. 1948. This number is tattooed on my forehead. I was born with it. 1948. 1948. Every person I meet notices this number on my forehead. Every time I look in the mirror, I see this number. Every hour, every minute, every second, the number lives on my forehead. It even became my name. They call me Arab of 1948. One of 2 million Arabs who are stuck under Israel since 1948. And I'm not the only one with a number. You, the person sitting here, you also are born with a number on your forehead. If you're Jewish, it's 1933, the year the Nazis took over. If you're from Rwanda, it's 1994, the year of the genocide. If you're African American, it's 1619, when slavery arrived to the United States. We are all born with a number. This number is our pain, it's our trauma, it's our sadness. And it has defined us so much that we put it on our forehead. We make it our identity. But what if? What if we could erase this number? What if we can live today without our pain from yesterday? I think about this question every single day of my life because it's hard. I was born in Arabi, which is 3 hours north from here. And in that part of the world, at least for my people, there's a lot of pain. The 1948 pain. The Arab citizens of Israel who want to tell the world how terrible life is, that we are not equal, that our family got kicked out, that Palestinians lost their homes. That's what I told my friends when they came to visit. I showed them the pain and I put the pain on my forehead. And I enjoyed it. It gave me sympathy. It made me feel good to complain. And then I woke up. Why am I doing this? Why do I continue the pain for my future kids? What if the pain stops with me? And what happens when I erase this number from my forehead? So I took control of my life. No more complaining. That's the rule. I studied hard in the village. I applied to universities in America. I got into Harvard by luck. I graduated. I started making videos. I put them on the internet. I traveled the world. I made 2,000 videos on social media and built a 100-person company. And now got more than 70 million followers globally. Now I'm lucky to get this honorary doctorate degree from Ben Gurion University in just 15 years of work. All it took is 15 years of hard work. When you erase the number on your forehead, you become free. Free to imagine and build any future you want. Now, when my friends come to my village, I tell them about the future I imagine. I tell them $1 billion startup is going to be founded by an Arab Israeli. I tell them the next minister in Israel could be Arab Israeli. And Jews and Arabs will work together and live together in peace here. Despite the pain, we can build that future together. I get it. You probably think I'm crazy. You think I'm stupid for saying this, or maybe just privileged living in New York. This guy is so silly. This guy is a dreamer. He doesn't understand anything. I hear this every day. I am not silly and I am not stupid. I just saw the world. I've been to 100 countries. I know what's possible. Let me take you to Uganda, Africa. You ready? 50 years ago, 1% of Uganda was made of Indians. Indian Ugandans. They're not Indian immigrants, they're Ugandans. They lived there their whole life. But one day, the Ugandan dictator decided to kick all of them out. Every single Indian. He gave them 90 days. 90 days to leave the country, shut their business, give up their home, lose their friends, and get out. In 90 days, 100,000 Ugandans, Indians, were kicked out of Uganda. That was painful. The number on their forehead was 1972, the year this happened. But you don't know about this. The news doesn't care or write about this. The same Indians from Uganda left to the West as refugees, and in one generation, they became the most successful minority in the world. In the West, they became doctors, lawyers, and billionaires. They left the village in Uganda to own hotels in America. If you look at their forehead today, there is no number. According to them, pain is not a choice. Losing your home is not a choice. But to be a victim, that's a choice. And you can choose to stop being a victim and start your life all over again. It's not just me. It's not just the Indian Ugandans. It's also the Vietnamese. The Rwandans did it. The Sindhis in Pakistan did it. The Jews did it. We can come back from the worst pain. It doesn't have to define us. It's our choice. But some of us don't want to make that choice. Some of us are addicted to pain. The world only listens to us when we are in pain. We always need the pain to get the sympathy, the hugs, and the likes. But remember, if we benefit from being a victim, we always need to be a victim. If we benefit from being a victim, we always need to be a victim. People ask me, what is the hardest thing that you did in your life? And the answer to that is not Nas Daily. The hardest thing I did in my life was to erase my pain and start again. To erase my pain and start again. It takes courage to do that. Because the minute you erase the number on your forehead, someone else shames you for it. How dare you not stand up to our history? How dare you let go? How dare you move on? They want the pain, they want the number on your forehead, even if you yourself don't want it. This is why it takes courage to move on. If you're still listening to my speech, and I think you are, it means you probably have a number on your forehead. I don't know the number, only you know it. It could be a number, it could be a word. So my question to you, and to you, and to you is very simple. What number is on your forehead? And do you have the courage to erase it? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we went to the stage, you asked me to ask you a real question. So this is what I'm going to do now. So I think the first thing that I want to ask you is something that a lot of your followers wonder about, your motivation. You are always working on something new, launching another project, building something fresh. What keeps you going? But tell me the truth.
First of
What
all,
you
I
ask?
worked way too hard on that speech. It took me 3 days of work. So thank you, Ben Gurion, for giving me the chance to put into words what I've been thinking about the whole time. You may not be the target audience, so maybe you are. Everybody's got a number and a word on their forehead, but the target audience is really you guys. You guys, you're from Nazareth and you're from Taipi. You're Arab Israeli, so you're my target audience because I was talking to you. So I hope you enjoyed it. Uh, what's my motivation? Um, you know, I think it's I think everybody spends the rest of their life trying to make the child inside of them happy, right? The rest of your adult life, you just spend it trying to please that child. That's it. So the child in me, was really motivated because it had no control and it saw things that it didn't like. I didn't like the sikhsukh in Israel. I didn't like the conflict. I didn't like seeing people hate each other. That sucks. I didn't like seeing the world be so divided. I didn't like being in the Middle East, far away from the action is. I didn't like. There's a lot of things. I didn't like being a middle child. I didn't like, I didn't like my friends. I didn't like a lot of things. So a lot of that I think gave me the motivation. And I want to answer this as well. In Islam, I'm not religious, but in Islam, there's this thing that's very interesting. It says, "Why do you pray? Why do you pray? Do you pray because you love heaven so much, or do you pray because you're scared of hell so much?" And it's like, why do you do what you do? Because you love something, or because you're scared of something so much? And I think for me is it's both. I'm scared of going back to the village days. I'm really scared. I'm scared to be Nasir from Arabi again because I did not enjoy that. And I also work because I love the fact that I get to be heard. I get to do things that I love. So it's a combination of this. I hope that answered your question.
Definitely. I think that the child that you have been will be very proud of you.
I don't know. Not yet. Depends on how NASIO goes.
So the second question, and after that, I will move the mic to the audience to ask some real question. In the past year, you have done a lot to speak up for Israel and to help explain the complexity of what's going on here. Do you feel that the conversation you sparked online have helped change people's minds?
So uh, let's talk about why I talked about Israel. Again, what's the motivation? Because when it comes to the Israel-Palestine conflict, everybody has either love or hate motivation. Like some people that stand for Israel, maybe they do it that are not Jewish and that have nothing to do with their country. Maybe they do it because they hate the Muslims so much. Similarly, in Indonesia, the people that hate Israel so much and stand for Palestine, it's because they hate the Jews so much. So it's really what's the motivation behind why you do the Israel-Palestine conflict, understanding the motivation. My motivation is because I love my country so much. I love my home so much. I want to see it prosper. I want to see that it shouldn't, it shouldn't be this hard for a kid from a village to make it in the world. Whether a Jewish kibbutz or an Arab kibbutz, it shouldn't be this hard. We should have so many more opportunities. I think a lot of us are distracted by the pain. The pain is distracting. We're in the middle of war. It's distracting. And my dream is to one day not have the existential distraction and just focus on doing startups together, making the Negev more green. Like that'd be so fun. Tourism in Israel, it's the world's best country for tourism. That's the vision I want to get to. And this is why I speak up today.
And but you think that when you talk with your followers and your audience, you think that you success to change their minds about Israel?
So what's interesting about Nas Daily is that it was the first Israeli media that reached people in, let's say, Bangladesh. People in Bangladesh have never met an Israeli. Never. Because before that, there was TV, and TV censored everything Israel. It's very simple. Then social media came. A lot of the Israeli creators are making content in Hebrew, and that doesn't reach Bangladesh. So in that case, Nas Daily was, because from 2016 up, the first Israeli, and it's the second Israeli export after Gal Gadot. So number one, uh, the truth. It's the truth. And but this export of Nas Daily, people love Nas Daily in Pakistan, for example. Why? Because we have Nas Daily Urdu. So we also localize our content to Urdu, and we have Nas Daily Arabic. We localize it to Egyptians, and to Moroccans, and to Libyans. So we have 5 million followers on Nas Daily Arabic. They don't speak English. So for them, what the hell is this? I like this guy. I used to like this guy. He's cool. He's traveling the world, da 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 da. He's got an amazing girlfriend. And I mean, they're checking you out for sure. And yet he says he's from Israel. You cannot say that. And so I think it was a big shock. Nas Daily was a massive shock to millions of people who, for the first time in their life, were confronted that an Israeli person could be not Jewish and could be okay with Israel. And I think that's why it caused a lot of pushback. But again, only pushback creates change. I have never seen change without pushback. Have you ever built muscles without rupturing the muscles? You cannot grow at the gym if you don't tear your muscles apart. So what I saw in the last 2 years is tearing apart some of the fabric of my followers, but hopefully it gets back stronger.
Thank you so much. So
And
now,
thank you for the questions.
now the mic is going to you, and I'm counting you to keep with the real questions. So
Thank you. No favorite color questions.
So Ina will help me.
Someone has a question?
The president wants to make sure only students ask questions. So donors, take a seat.
Hi. First of all, thank you for coming. I'm the program manager of Leaders, so these are all my students. And I've been living in the Gaza envelope area for the last years. Unfortunately, lost friends and family at the October 7th event. And since then, I put a lot of effort trying to help this area to revive and be successful. And I've been reading a lot of books that has been written since after Yom Kippur War to really understand how do you rise from such a low point. And then I just finished reading a book, and it really killed me to think about the fact that the same soldiers who really experienced Yom Kippur on their own flesh were the people who took the wrong decisions who led us to October 7th. And on one hand, how we as a nation grew from this event was only possible if you not if you not act as a victim and you don't let the number define you. Yet, if you forget the number, then you just keep repeating the mistakes, and history moves like a circle, as we all know. So, what is your
That honestly, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. I was this close to adding a section in the speech saying that literally word for word, we don't have to forget the number, but it doesn't have to be on our forehead, right? It can be in our palm, it can be on your arm, it can be at a place you remember on your body, but it doesn't have to be right front and center of everything we do in life. And I think that's sort of the general idea. So I definitely agree with you. And because of that comment, I'm going to modify the speech and I upload a newer version. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
That was a good question. Although it wasn't really a question, but go, 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 go. Come on, come on.
Hello. Hi.
You just, sorry.
Sorry. Hi.
Ask your question fast, fast.
Okay. How did you reach to the idea to go on startups around the world, and in order, I think, maybe to market them and to open them to other people around the globe using the internet from traveling from 1 minute So for me, it's interesting because it was completely different, I think.
How do you go from making 1-minute videos to building startups? That's a question. That's a very good question. So everybody knows pyramids, right? The Giza pyramids or the Egypt pyramids. Okay, most pyramids in life are like this, but when you're a content creator, the pyramid is like this. Does that make sense? So the top of the pyramid is the creator, and when the creator dies, everything crumbles. If the creator, because it's so like social media creators, like when you take a 1-week break, everything dies. The metrics go down, like your career is over, basically. So it's like a guinea pig. You had like a hamster wheel. So I never liked that. I never wanted to be an upside down pyramid. I never wanted to be famous. People that grow up in a village in Arabi do not dream of being famous. It is not something you think about as a child. So becoming a content creator was actually a side, what do you call it? Like a not a side gig. It took my whole life away, but it was like a accident, just like babies. Who's an accident here? Oh, you're an accident too? Wow, the best accident. My mom says babies are not accident. She's talking about our fourth sibling. Don't send this to him. So what I'm saying is like that was actually my whole life has always been how do I build something bigger than me? Not how do I make myself big? How do I build something bigger than me? That's why Nas Daily is always about let me tell you the stories of others. Let me highlight the stories of others even when I'm traveling. And I realized the best way to build something bigger than you for the next 100 years is to build a company. There is no other option, unfortunately. As much as I hate hiring people, I hate HR, I hate people problems, you have to do it. That's the only way to build something lasting and sustainable. And so I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, build something bigger than me. And that's why I'm building a startup and a company. I'm not trying to go to the Hollywood route. And that's why Gal Gadot is number one.
Hello. Hi. Over here. I'm a student, by the way, second year Ben-Gurion. And I want to say thank you for coming, and I really appreciate what you're doing today, and I follow you for a long time. Uh, I think we're losing maybe the most important battlefield in this war, which is the media and public opinion. And as a social media expert, uh, what do you think we should do else, and why are we losing this war? And is it just a numbers game? And how do I make sure that in a few years I go abroad and meet people and they see me as not as a baby killer or apartheid state or anything that you said before, or just as an Israeli, something like that? So what do you think?
Oh, that question made me emotional. Thank you for asking that question. It is really hard. How do I go abroad and people see me as a human, not as a baby killer? Um, unfortunately, Israel has not been very good at branding. Israel needs a CMO. The thing is, and actually, it's a systematic problem. And actually, a symptom of that problem is here too. Every time in Israel, we look to the left, we look to the west. Like every Israeli wakes up and is like, okay, New York, I'm coming for you. Nobody looks to the right. Nobody looks. Okay, what happens in like Indonesia? What happens in Dubai? How do I build our brand there? And when somebody builds a company in Israel, unfortunately, we focus so much on, I give you $1 of marketing today, you need to give me $2 in revenue back. It's performance marketing, it's called, right? $1 today, you give me $2 back. But if you want to build a brand, you're going to spend $1 today and get $0 back. But you need to trust that somehow, some way, this $1 is well spent. Okay? That's unfortunately something Qatar is very good at. When you're printing so much money, you can spend $10 today and not get anything back. In fact, they just spent $400 million on a plane. And they'll get something back, but it's hard to quantify it like you can with a Facebook ad. So, and I think Israel, as citizens of Israel and as a government, I think you just need to get better at that game. And I think that's systematic. So what's the solution? I mean, I hope Nas Daily is one example of that, but we need 100 Nas Dailies. How do you create 100 Nas Dailies in Israel?
Hello, hello. I'm retired, and
Congrats.
and so once I retired, I decided to become an MBA student here at Ben Gurion University.
Wow.
Um,
Are you the oldest student?
I'm going to be 64 in 2 weeks. So
Yes.
so I why did I come to do this and come to do this MBA in Israel? I have a vision, which is to in the darkness to bring some light and to encourage trade between the Arab countries that signed the accords and Israel. I want to ask you, are you interested in creating a tourism
Yes.
company between Israel and the Arab countries that signed the accords, soon to be Saudi Arabia, so that we can foster more understanding and better ties to bring the peace?
Thank you for that.
Like Nas Tours.
Nas Tours. Do you know that I actually tried that? It was called Nas Travels. I tried it for 3 months. It failed. Uh, by the way, Nas means people in Arabic. It's not my name. Yeah, they call me Nas in Israel for some reason, but Messiah is my name. But that's a very good question. I'll tell you a story. I was living in Singapore 5 years ago. I was invited. I got an email from the UAE government. They said, come to Dubai to make videos because you're one of us. This was before the peace deal. You're one of us. Come. And I was like, how do I enter? I'm Israeli. They said, just we'll make the airport work. So yeah, they just like I walk in, no stamp, nothing. Great. Make videos. Here is our nuclear facility. Make videos about it. I get critical info. Here's our desalination plant. Make a video about it. It was the best thing I've ever done. But they told me, when you go around the UAE, do not show your passport. Do not tell anybody you're from Israel. Hide it like it's the most valuable thing you own. Hide it. I was like, okay, fine. I did that. And then I made the videos and I got out. 1 month later, Abraham Accords happened. I don't know how. And then I go back to live in Dubai. And then I say I'm from Israel. And they're like, oh my God, we love Israel. Welcome. This is amazing. Let's do things together. Let's do trade together. You know, it was from the hotels to everybody was there. So I saw what happens when it finally becomes okay to like Israel. I saw it with my own eyes, what happens when it's okay to not hate. And I think a lot of people in the Middle East are waiting for the okay. We're literally just waiting for the okay from somebody because unfortunately the Middle East is very top down. When my boss or my king, when my leader tells me it's okay, it is okay for me. It is very hierarchical in that sense. It's not like the amazing chaos democracy in Israel. So I think we're just waiting for the okay. People are waiting for the okay. And so I'm a big fan of that idea. And actually, I'm doing it. We have a small hotel in Dubai. We have a small office in Dubai. We invest a lot in the UAE. Abu Dhabi is one of my favorite places to work and do business in. So, and Saudi Arabia is the next frontier. And so I even bought a whole new citizenship just to go to Saudi Arabia and Indonesia. And so I'm now a Caribbean citizen. And Saudi Arabia and Indonesia were great. And they want, I've seen more Jews in Saudi Arabia than I have in New York. Okay? Like when I went to the conference, it was insane. So I really think it's just a matter of time. And this is where Israel should focus 100% of its efforts. Scream.
Yeah. I've experienced the anti-Semitism, and I've realized myself how hard it is to have a conversation with them. So how are you getting through to them?
That's a very honest and real question. You know, I hate to admit it. I hate to admit it. I don't want to be that guy, but I have to be that guy. but sometimes it does feel like there's nobody on the other side extending their hands to chat. Like the amount of peace programs I see in the world, all chaired by Jewish Americans. I'm like, I want to see a peace program chaired by a Jordanian businessman. You will not see that. That's the harsh truth. And I don't want to be here saying, no, 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 it's okay. No, it's not okay. There's a lot of problems. The way I sleep at night is I see the hope. Look, I don't see hope in Egypt. Let's just call it spade a spade. I don't see hope in Jordan, maybe in Lebanon, but I see the most hope in the UAE, in Saudi Arabia, and in the Arab Israeli citizens of Israel. Those are the three areas of hope I see. And see, if you can make that work, if you can get the leader of the Muslim world to normalize the relations, I think everybody else will follow. Again, it's trickle down. I don't, unfortunately, and this is sad, I do not believe in a grassroots effect where we can somehow, some way convince a Palestinian American that Israel is now okay or that Israel can exist. I find that a little bit difficult to do it one by one. What I do find it easier is get, all right, Saudi Arabia is on board, Indonesia is on board, UAE is on board, like, get on the train. What are you waiting on, fool? You know? So it's like, okay, this is the next chapter. So I think that's when the masses will come, but I think they're just waiting for the okay. And somebody needs to give that okay, and we know who. Hello? Here. Wow, great voice. That's a great question. What do you see for yourself in 20 years? My answer to this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let me explain. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my favorite people in the world. You know why? Because he plans his life better than all of us. He has 3 chapters in his life. Chapter number 1, bodybuilder. So he became so good. He became the #1 bodybuilder in the world. Then he said, I'm done with that chapter for 15 years. My next chapter is actor. He became the best Hollywood actor in another 15 years. And then he said, I'm done with the acting chapter. My next chapter is politics. And so he became basically Max, governor of California, which is the most you can get if you're not born in the United States. So he became #1 in politics. Isn't that inspiring? He planned his life and his chapters so well. So the question is, how do I plan my life and my chapters? I had a 10-year chapter as a content creator, and that is officially over as of like 2 months ago. And so I finished that. My next 10-year chapter is entrepreneurship. So I believe that we're going to see a massive revolution in the number of entrepreneurs in the world. And the reason for that is because AI finally makes it easy to start a business. You have a CMO, CTO, CBO, COO in your pocket for $1 a day. Yeah, in one chat. You have the knowledge of the world's best business people in your pocket now with AI, so you can build a business. So I see the entrepreneurs are going to be like this. The concept of 9 to 5 is done. The office work is done. I think 30% of the world will become entrepreneurs. Now it's 10%. So I want to play in that for the next 10, 15 years. Once that's done, it'll become pretty boring. The third chapter will be to become president of Ben Gurion University. I'm joking. I don't know why I said that. So actually, I meant read between the lines. No, actually, what I meant is my third chapter, you have to do something that's very important. That's life and death. And this is, of course, important. But what is life and death? Medicine and politics, in my opinion. The only reason we're alive today is because somebody invented an artificial pancreas and another person stopped the missile from landing here. Politics and medicine is the main reason why a lot of us are alive. And so medicine, I'm not a good doctor. I'm just an honorary doctor. So I do think something in politics is interesting and necessary, especially in Israel. So I think that would be the third chapter, and then we're done.
Hi. You touched about this briefly. You talked about victim mentality, which usually also leads to isolation, both personally and as communities. How can, how do you think we can help communities that have this victim mentality, that feel isolated, and integrate them and make them part and feel like part of the country?
You talk about Israel.
Yeah.
Not the wrong. Okay. I think the solution to Israel is two things, and I don't know why the hell nobody is saying it. Okay. It's very simple. Number one, schools, schools, schools. Schools have to be mixed. It is unbelievable that I spent 19 years in Israel and I had 0 Jewish friends. It is unbelievable. My first Jewish friend I met at Harvard, and I was surprised that he wasn't a baby killer. He was actually so nice to me, and I'm still his friend today, and he's an amazing guy. So from middle school, high school, and elementary school, we got a mix. So we got to force 10% of your classmates to become Arab. I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, we're coming for you. Okay, and I want I want 30% of my school to have been Jewish. So at least I practice my Hebrew, so we don't have to do this in English. Okay, schools you got to mix, and the second thing is you got to mix the army. Okay, which means come on. Why are you not forcing Arab Israelis to join some sort of community service or army, right? Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. You agree? You agree? Like, the conversation should not just be about Orthodox Jews. You know, that I think that's your fight, not my fight. But but my fight is like, make me serve for Israel for 1 year, 2 years, 33 years. Force me to say the national anthem. Force me to sing it. I have never sung the national anthem. Why? You know? So sometimes it almost feels like you don't want us part of your country and we don't want to be part of the country. So I think the solution is these two things, and I think wait 30 years, and I hope we have a better future.
So the next talk gonna be in Hebrew.
Yeah. Next year.
One last question
Here.
over there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Make it count.
I'm not sure whether my question is real question as you mentioned, but okay. So I'm Asha Sastry. I'm from India.
You're from India?
Yeah, I'm from India. And I'm doing my PhD here. So when I got to know like you are arriving to our university, I didn't know about you.
You don't know Nas Daily and you're from India. That's shocking. India is like number one. Joking. Okay, go ahead. You're busy studying.
Yeah, so then I'm doing my PhD here. So when I got to know like you are arriving and I'm involved in the like speed dating session when we have to talk to you guys. So then I thought, okay, I need to know who's this guy. And I searched about you and that whole night I watched a lot of video.
Thank
So
you.
that
On which
night,
platform? On which platform?
YouTube.
YouTube. Interesting. Okay, keep going.
Okay. So that night I had one question, and today after listening to your talk, so I have two ways small
Okay, make it
questions.
fast.
Okay. So one question is, you have inspired millions through your stories. What's a moment where someone else's story deeply changed you? Okay. Another question is, how do you ensure you tell stories from underrepresented communities without making them feel tokenized or oversimplified?
I think everybody likes the second question. How do you involve somebody from a minority without making them feel tokenized? Well, you're talking to the token number one. I think, look, I'm sure an element of Nas Daily in Israel, I'm sure is tokenized. Like I'm pretty sure of it. Like I'm sure, like when I have some friends in Tel Aviv, like I think they enjoy the fact that, oh, I get to have an Arab Israeli friend without, it's like a light version. So I'm sure that exists. I'm not sure it's the problem. I'm not sure it's a problem. Like I think all it takes to change perception is one person. That's what I deeply believe in. And I remember this clearly in my company. I had a company that's based in Singapore. So we had a lot of Singaporeans, Indians, Arabs, from around the world, but we had no one from China. And for me, I was saying so many jokes about, the Chinese government. And for me, it was like, I was like, for me, China was an object until we hired a head of engineering from China, from China. And he was the kindest guy I ever met. He was the hardest worker I ever met. And I was like, wow, my company dies without this guy. And I should no longer view China as just this one place where there's no emotions, no feelings, just work and have one baby. It's more than that. And that one head of engineering made me become much more aware of the world and much more respectful of every country in the world. So the way I view it is like tokenization's fine, but yeah, I think everybody should have a black best friend. I think everybody should have an Arab Israeli friend, right? Tokenize them. But at least the next time you say all Arabs are terrorists, I hope you remember Messiah, and you're like, oh, he's not that much of a terrorist, so maybe not all Arabs are terrorists. Most of them are. But, we start with that. We start with that, okay? I think it's great. By the way, I don't believe that most of them are. That's what I'm saying. That's what the person would believe. But I think it's gradual. I believe changing of minds is gradual. It should not be sudden. And I hope Nas Daily has gradually changed the minds of a few Jewish Israelis. And I hope that it also changed the mind of a few people who hate Israel outside Israel. So I don't have a big problem with tokenization. I think it's better than nothing, and it's a good start. I hope that helps.
New Star, thank you so much.
I think I was too honest.
It was great. So thank you so much for the amazing talk. One thing that I took from this conversation is to be motivated by love. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
The famous selfie, guys.
Thank you so much.